Welcome to MMA on the Rocks. My name is Bill Welker. You are listening to episode 6 of what we are now calling Picks and Pours, where once a week, my buddy Matt the Mechanic will join me to make UFC picks that he's not actually going to bet money on, and I will critique his picks. So here we are, and here's Matt joining me all the way from across town with a brand new haircut. How you feeling, Matt?
Pretty good, Bill. And there is a change. I will be betting on these fights because it is now legal in Florida to bet online.
Oh, well, great.
And we will be in
the Hard Rock?
Hard Rock Bet app. All the odds will be coming off of this app tonight. You know, maybe we can get in touch with them.
Now we got to just get them to sponsor this segment.
Yeah. So last week I went 3-2. That's what this little $1.35 means. We would have put $1 on each one of them. You would have came out with an extra $1.35.
Your nemesis Mark Fellows says Mark is winning. Oh, that warms my heart. Good to hear. Even broken clocks are right twice a day.
Yep.
Mark, right off the bat with the burns.
What's up, Mark?
Okay, so we're talking UFC Vegas 82, or I still don't know why they number these differently. Like, why doesn't the hashtag match? It says UFC Fight Night 232, but it's UFC Vegas 82.
Yeah, it's the 82nd event in the Apex Center.
Yeah, but why don't they just have one?
Who knows?
Like, why does one website call it one thing? In any case, middleweights Brendan Allen and Paul Craig headline the card. Where do you want to start with this one?
Let's start at the main event.
Okay.
So this card starts at 2 p.m. Eastern, and the main card's at 5, so it's a little different. The middleweight main event: Brandon Allen versus Paul Craig. Brandon Allen's 22-5, and Paul Craig is 17-6-1. Paul Craig being the plus 325 underdog. Brandon Allen's minus 450. I'm gonna go with Brandon Allen here. I don't think Paul Craig's gonna be able to get him down to the same situation last week with Jessica Andrade, I think.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that the line is this wide on this fight. I would think it'd be a little closer because Paul Craig 17-6-1, but he's 1-0 at middleweight. So he's already done it. He demolished Andre Muniz, who, I mean, MMA math never works, but it's just points to bring up. Brendan Allen took him 3 rounds to get rid of Andre Muniz. Paul Craig got rid of him quicker. And now it surprises me that he's such a big underdog. I would understand if it was like a slight underdog or even 2-1. But, man, what did you say? Minus 4 something for Brendan Allen?
Let me double check that. Yeah, minus 450 for Brendan Allen.
Man, that's
I knew you were going to have a problem with this pick. But it seems that Brendan Allen can't beat anybody, or he can beat anyone that's not from Extreme Couture. So maybe they're factoring that in.
Yeah, his most recent losses were Chris Curtis and Sean Strickland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I think his only losses in the UFC were to those two guys.
I don't necessarily disagree with the pick. I disagree with the odds. So because of the odds, if I were betting money, I wouldn't bet on Brendan Allen unless I was putting him in a parlay.
Well, I have to make a pick, and I'm going to use that logic left farther down the card or up the card.
All right, fair enough. Brendan Allen it is. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Craig could get an upset here. I know maybe he can't get him down, but he's a guy has no qualms about pulling guard in there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Before we start this next one, Mark says Jake Matthews has a nervous sweat going, waiting for Matt's pick.
Oh, it's another Australian guy, right?
But Mark, you have to remember this is non-parlay Matt, and non-parlay Matt has a winning record now. So Michael Morales, who's undefeated, taking on Jake Matthews in the co-main event. What do you got on this one?
Jake Matthews is a plus 230 underdog. Morales is a minus 325. Morales has 11 knockouts. Jake Matthews has only been knocked out once, but I really think Morales is going to pull through here. Or run through, rather.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one because Jake Matthews is inconsistent. However, Michael Morales hasn't really fought this. I mean, he's 23 years old. He hasn't really fought this level of competition yet. I mean, yeah, he beat Max Griffin in his last fight. He's got a win over Trevin Giles. Jake Matthews, I mean, I understand why he's the underdog. He's going in against the undefeated fighter, but yeah, I mean, I'm okay going with the favorite on this one.
Yeah. Next fight's my favorite fight on the card.
Okay.
It's a lightweight fight between Chase Hooper and Jordan Leavitt. Chase Hooper is a minus 225 underdog or favorite, and Leavitt is plus 170. I'm going to take Leavitt. I really like the guy. He's fun. He has a little bit of an issue because Hooper's strength is definitely his jiu-jitsu. But is this his Chase Hooper's first fight at lightweight, or has he done that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you because he was at featherweight, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad after all the brain damage he's taken in the UFC that he's moving up in weight and he's at least not doing it dehydrated anymore.
Yeah, I will be picking Jordan the Sweet Tart Leavitt.
The I like Sweet that. Tart? Is that really
I like
nickname?
this. No, that's my nickname for him. He's cool. He's always twerking or doing something silly. I like guys that can cut the tension a little bit sometimes.
Mark asks, is this for the interim nice motherfucker belt? Or did Wonder Boy vacate it? Yeah, these are both two like overly nice guys. Like I feel like after the fight, regardless of what happens, they're gonna go out and split an ice cream float somewhere.
Yeah, remember when I think it was Hooper's first one where he said he was gonna go get some M&Ms.
Yeah,
he couldn't go
they were
drink.
in Vegas. He said he was gonna go to the candy shop and get some peanut M&Ms.
Yeah.
He's like,
anyway,
he's such a child. It's so funny. Yeah, I'm okay going with the underdog here. I mean, Jordan Leavitt will definitely have an advantage with the wrestling. He's definitely got more punching power. Chase Hooper is awkward off his back, though. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve there. Our friend Sky Moisacek has fought Chase Hooper before he got into the UFC, and you know what a good grappler Sky is, and he had a hard time holding Chase down. And he has a lot of good strikes off his back, and he's constantly attacking submissions. So, but Jordan Leavitt's a guy who constantly moves while he's on top. So, yeah, I'm
the
okay
Monkey King is his nickname, I think. Zach.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I like Sweet Tart better too.
I do. He's a little different.
Yeah, he's a little Sweet Tart. All right.
Next is a bantamweight fight between Nick Aguirre, plus 500 underdog, versus Peyton Talbot. He's minus 850.
Wow.
Peyton is a kid from the Contender Series. He's kind of puts off Sugar Sean vibes. He's got flashy strikes. In his fight, he backflipped out of a single leg.
Okay.
He's all over social media. I'm going to be picking against him. He's fighting Nick Aguirre. This guy's tough. He's 7-1. He's plus 500. So I'll put it all around that.
It's worth throwing a couple of bucks on, I'd say, for that kind of line. This guy, his only loss is against Dan Argueta, and that was in the UFC. So he's got more UFC level experience. This kid Talbot, though, he's 5'10" at 135 pounds. That's going to be tough to deal with.
Yeah, he's like I mean he definitely should be the favorite. I'm just gonna do the numbers of this fight.
Yeah, and he's 11-0 if you count his amateur experience, and all of his amateur experience was for King of the Cage. He went undefeated there with all finishes. Yeah, I mean, I understand betting the underdog because it's such a big line. You're just playing the numbers here, but I wouldn't feel totally comfortable placing that bet, and I wouldn't put a ton of money on it.
No,
But
I'm gonna put $1.
okay,
$1.
all right, $1. Nick, I would say it's Aguirre. Nick Aguirre.
Well, I don't know if we'll have Anik this weekend to give us the correct one. We'll probably hear all kinds of shit.
Yeah, it'll probably be Brendan
Wait
Fitzgerald.
to hear the guy coming up in 2 fights.
Okay, are you doing the whole card? This is a big card.
It's a 6-fight main card. We have 2 more.
Okay, let's hear it.
The strawweight female fight between Luana Pinheiro plus 185 versus Amanda Ribas minus 240. These last 2 I haven't picked yet, so you're gonna have to help me here. It's been a while since Ribas fight. I think it's got been a year.
Yeah. So two Brazilians here. Pinheiro coming off the win over Michelle Waterson Gomez. That was a close fight. If you recall, where Michelle kind of beat the fuck out of her in the first round, and then Luana came back. So she won the split decision there. It seems like Luana had a lot of finishes against lower level competition, and then when she got to the UFC, it's been all decisions, and she won one fight by disqualification. Amanda Ribas definitely has the experience advantage, and even though she lost a fight to a much younger fighter, Macy Barber, in her last fight, I still would side with experience here because she's experienced and still only 30 years old. So I would lean towards Amanda Ribas in this one.
Okay, I'll take the other person.
All right. I'm glad that was useful. All right. Uros Medic against Miktaibek Orolbai. Welterweights. What do you got here?
This is the second guy is a fill-in for the guy I was gonna pick. I forget his name. I'm almost gonna go with the second one because of his name.
Miktaibek Orolbai.
Yeah, he's a favorite minus 142. He looks like he's a King of the Cage champion or LFA champion, one of the two.
Yeah. Well, LFA.
Which is odd because I watched LFA, so I'm going to run with the name. I'm going to run with the name. All I need to know.
Let's see. This guy's 5'10", 170 pounds. He's the same height as the kid that's fighting at bantamweight. Yeah. It looks like he's got championship experience. He's got a couple of belts.
He is a favorite, so he's got to, just to come in and be the favorite in a replacement.
Which is weird, especially because Uros Medic, his only loss in the UFC is to Jalen Turner.
I would say somebody knows something. This fight is actually not on the Hard Rock Bets app at all. I got this from DraftKings.
Interesting. So we can't even.
Yeah, I will not be placing this bet.
Can't even bet on this one
unless it pops up. I don't know I don't know how much attention they take.
This has the potential to be a really great fight. This is like a sleeper fight. Like a lot of people aren't going to be expecting. to be good. But man, Uros Medic, he basically finished all of his fights in the UFC, including the Contender Series. He knocked out Alon Cruz, who trains here in Tampa. Knocked out
Oh, I remember
Omar
that.
Malak. Huh?
I remember that now. He beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
It was a late stoppage almost.
Yeah. I mean, Medic beats the shit out of a lot of people. He knocked out Matthew Semlisberger with that spinning back fist. Uros Medic is a bad motherfucker.
All right, I'll switch it up.
I mean, I wasn't trying to sway you. I'm just
Now I remember more. I'll take him.
okay. All right. So give me all your picks then.
So it's Brendan Allen, Michael
Okay.
Moraes, Sweet Tart, Nick Aguirre,
Aguirre. Let's go with Aguirre.
Nick Aguirre, Luana, and Medic.
Okay. It's funny. His nickname's the Doctor, isn't it? And his last name is spelled Medic, but I believe it's Medic. Uros Medic.
Medic.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not mad at those picks.
We'll see. I think this card might make be some fun. Who knows?
Are you able to? Do you have the odds in front of you?
Like quickly.
If you took the three underdogs in the top three fights, so Paul Craig, Jake Matthews, and Jordan Levitt, what would that play out? Just out of curiosity.
Say it again.
So if you take Paul Craig, Jake Matthews, and Jordan Levitt in a parlay.
Jake Matthews, Paul Craig, and Levitt.
Yeah. That's got to be like a plus. It's got to be plus over 1,000.
Yeah, it's plus 3,800. That's $10 would make you $400 almost.
You know, that's not a bad play because they all have a shot. I mean, Jordan Levitt and Chase Hooper, that's a pick 'em fight in my opinion. I don't think there's a clear favorite in that one. I don't care what the odds say. Jake Matthews, you can never count out though. He's not great to bet on because he's inconsistent. And Paul Craig, I feel like, is a steal at that price because he's not afraid to pull guard. He's comfortable off his back. He's got arm bars. I mean, he broke Jamal Hill's arm off his back. I don't understand why you'd be such a huge underdog against Brendan Allen.
Are you going to take another crack at a parlay?
Sure. This will be my let's do like a Hail Mary parlay every week. So I'll actually throw $10 on it. I'll put my money where my mouth is.
Let's not get out of hand. $1 here. We're dollar betters. I'll put $1.
Fine, $1. So what is $1 with me? $14?
40, almost $40.
Oh, all right. All right. Mark says that Jake is a lock. All right. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I like his chances enough to put him in my parlay. So I'll take Paul Craig, Jake Matthews, and Jordan Levitt in my parlay here. Anything on the prelims interest you at all?
I didn't. No. I recognize one name. Maybe one more. Christian Leroy Duncan versus, I don't know. It looks like there might be a lot of, this might be like the freshman contender series
it does
event.
It does have that kind of vibe, but we have Jonathan Pierce and Joe Anderson Brito. That should be a fun fight, fun featherweight scrap there. All right, so let's put a lid on this. You got some news?
So we got a Bellator card. I didn't think that was going to happen coming up or this week.
Yeah, that's
Friday.
Pettis versus Patchy Mix.
Well, that's not the main event.
It is to me.
The main event is Asma versus Jackson. But yeah, That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, I don't give a
At
shit
his
about
first
that.
mix. I wanted to see him fight Sean O'Malley really bad.
Which one?
Patchy mix.
Patchy Mix?
Yeah.
Well, he's got to get past Sergio Pettis first.
Yeah.
Doesn't Pettis have a win over him?
Yeah, I think he won the belt from him, didn't he?
Yeah. And now Patchy Mix also has a belt. He has like an interim belt.
Yeah, that's weird. That's another thing I wanted to bring up, Bill. The interim belts. I think we need to cancel this shit. Did you see all the stuff that Aspinall's getting? Oh, he didn't win the real belt. So it got so bad that he came out and made a statement that, now that he thinks about it, he shouldn't have been so emotional when he won it, which I thought that was an awesome moment.
Yeah. I mean, look, he gets the UFC title put around his waist. He's going to have that picture forever. At the end of the day, nobody, like 10 years from now, when we're looking back at Tom Aspinall's career, nobody's going to be like, oh, yeah, but he only won the interim belt the first time. Like, nobody cares. And, like, as far as the casual fans go, like, they don't even know what it means. Most of them are just like, they're getting drunk. They're watching it with the sound off. They're like, oh, yeah, that British guy won by knockout. Now he's the champ. Who cares? Like, look at bare knuckle. Like, a lot of more people are starting to watch that now. Nobody knows who the champions are. People think Mike Perry's the champion, to the point where the BKFC is just making up a belt for him.
That's a good segue. I have something for you.
Okay.
This is what's the guy? I'll play it. You'll know who it is.
Okay.
He's interviewing David Feldman.
All right.
During the press conference, this is a one and done situation. This belt won't be on the line for the victor. The buck stops right here with it. That's going to be the case. Why is Platinum Mike Perry not fighting for world titles, and we're making titles for him in this promotion?
It's about money right now for Mike Perry, right? He wants to make as much money as possible, and our champion's name value just wasn't going to add value enough for him to make money. But now I think we can. So he comes off victory on this event. I think there's definitely a BKFC title shot for his next fight.
And speaking,
yeah,
so what's what we've been thinking, but it looks like Dave's going to get a shot. If I don't know if Dave will have to take another fight, but
it's interesting that you have to put it that way. Dave's going to get his shot when he's the champ.
Yeah, I didn't mean it that way, and I apologize.
Yeah,
Dave,
I know, but that's what it is. Like, he's getting his shot at a big money fight, even though he's been the champ and defended it, 3 times now.
Yeah, because Dave is definitely. I'm biased, but Dave could be the BKFC GOAT right now.
I would say he is.
But there's something he needs to take from Mike Perry. It angers me so much that I message podcast host when they start talking about Mike Perry being the champion of the BKFC. And
yeah, it's Dave Mundell. This is a middleweight champion. Speaking of the BKFC, though, there is BKFC Saturday night, or it might be Saturday day because it's in the United Kingdom, and it is headlined by Danny Christie and Jared Warren. I don't know if anybody saw, but I ran into Jared Warren at the BKFC in Orlando, and I did a quick little interview with him, and he talked to me about his last fight where he got punched in the back of the head, and the fight was ruled a no contest. And he was talking about how he was dazed for like 45 minutes afterwards, and then overnight it just kind of swelled up. And he said he was talking slow for 3 days. He said he was thinking clearly, but when he went to speak, the words didn't come out at the same pace he was thinking them. And then he said when the swelling went down, he was kind of back to normal. But that must be a terrifying experience, because you got to be thinking like, shit, I've got brain damage now.
I'm starting to wonder if I have brain damage. I speak like that all the time.
Yeah. Same.
Hey, Bill, that's actually not the next bare knuckle event. That's bare knuckle 55. That's Saturday night. Bare knuckle 54 is Friday night.
Oh, well, what the fuck is that one?
BKFC Bulgaria.
What?
Yeah.
All right. So we got
I was
two
like
bare
looking
knuckles.
at the thing and I was getting confused because you're talking about Jared Warren. And I'm like, I don't think none of these guys are Jared Warren.
No, the Jared Warren one is in England. And he's fighting Danny Christie. Yeah, that is Saturday night. I didn't know there was
This,
another one on Friday night. So
yeah, this one is I'm gonna watch this one because I'm looking at the card and they have all the pictures and it looks like they might just went to a prison in Bulgaria to just having all the prisoners fight.
I wouldn't mind seeing one of these Bulgarian prisoners fight Mike Perry next. Then, if they're not going to give it to Dave, then give it to one of these
Well,
Bulgarians.
that clip suggested that he was going to give it to Dave.
Yeah, it does. I mean, he was telling he told the truth, which is rare for a promoter. So at least credit to Dave Feldman there. He seems like a pretty stand-up guy. He doesn't seem like very shisty like a lot of other promoters.
Remember when one of the first events, he was going to take pay because they weren't fighting. He's like, "You're not going to get paid if you don't fight."
Oh yeah, I do remember that. That used to be a thing in Pride where the referees could give yellow cards and for stalling, and when that happened, they both would lose a percentage of their purse.
I don't know if I like that.
I don't know how it used to be fun though, because it would be like, Rampage Jackson and whoever he's in there with, let's say Vanderlei Silva. If one guy's like stalling, they'll like stop, holds up the yellow card. So now they're both pissed. So now they fucking try to destroy each other.
Maybe it worked, but I don't like a guy
Oh,
that
it
fought
worked.
doing that.
It worked because it was Pride and everybody was on steroids and coked up.
That was before my time. I was thinking today, 2017 is when I really started watching because I was thinking about Frivola and that crazy asshole he fought. I was like, I wonder what a fight with him and now I'm drawing a blank on his name, the guy in Texas. What's his name? Special Forces guy in Texas.
Tim Kennedy.
Who knows? Tim Kennedy. When did he fight?
He probably retired 5 years ago.
So right before I started watching every event.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Tim Kennedy was solid.
But it would have been a neat if those two guys could meet in the cage, but it's not going to happen.
But Tim Kennedy was a middleweight.
Yeah, well, I just like the special forces aspect of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like Benoit Saint Denis' chances against middleweight Tim Kennedy. Even now, especially now, I'm sure he's on.
Oh yeah, he's jacked now.
Everything.
He's probably a light heavyweight at least.
Yeah. He was a big middleweight too. He was always a big dude. I think he might have gotten out of there right before USADA.
Maybe there's some guys that left then. Maybe that's when he left. Hey, did you see Jake Paul's next fight?
No.
He's fighting December 15th, and he's fighting a pro boxer in Andre August. He's 11-1. Mike, I'm curious to see if he keeps going down the fighting pro boxers, would you change your opinion a bit?
Which is what?
Well, I know you've always, you don't really care for it. You haven't given him much props.
I don't really care about the sport of boxing anymore because of all the corruption and all just like
and bare knuckle.
I've just lost interest. Yeah. Look, Jake Paul can box. I would never disagree with that. But I have no interest in watching him box a pro boxer.
I just think I got to give him some props because it seems like he's not just trying to make money knocking out old MMA guys. Like this seems like he, because 3 people are going to buy this event. I think he's really on a personal quest to like prove something to himself.
Yeah, and good for him. But you
don't give a shit.
No, because I don't I don't really know anything about him. I haven't followed his career. Like, you could tell me, like, Jim down the street is taking a boxing fight because he wants to prove something to himself. It would mean the same thing to me.
Okay. So I only have one other thing. Dana White was on Theo Vaughn's podcast.
Okay.
He's talking about the slap league, and this can't be true, but listen to this.
Okay.
If you take the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, the NHL, UFC, WWE, NASCAR, Formula One, PGA, and a couple other ones, you combine all their numbers together on social, multiply them by 4. They don't do what Power Slap does.
No way.
Fucking fact.
Okay. Combine all of them and multiply by 4.
Basically, he's saying it does more interactions than all other professional sports times 4.
Okay. So it depends, like, what kind of metrics you're looking at. Like, when he says interactions, like, what does that mean?
I would imagine it means reels on YouTube or Instagram or like the short, because that's the only way I even think of consuming that.
So there's a way to manipulate this too, right? Because, all right, they have 1.9 million followers on Instagram. I'm looking at it right here. Most of the clips are like 10 or 15 seconds long. It's one guy getting slapped, and then his face hits the table, and then it replays. So, like, yeah, people might watch those clips over and over. Like, if it comes up in your feed, you see the guy get slapped, and you're like, oh shit, look at that. And then maybe you put your phone down, and then it plays 15 times, and all those plays count. And then who knows too? There's so many ways to, like, drive up the numbers of things. And then I would think the traditional sports leagues aren't as big on social media because people are watching them on TV. They're still going to ESPN to watch highlights and things like that. They're not really looking to get that social media engagement because they're already established companies. You know, they don't need to be getting billions of views on Instagram because people are already bought into the product.
Yeah.
Like, you either watch the NBA or you don't. So having a huge social media presence doesn't really help them as a company. Whereas a new sport that people don't know about, yeah, they need social media to kind of build that traction. So it's more important to them. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's more popular than those other sports. Like, that metric doesn't really mean anything to me.
And I'm looking here, the NFL has 28.7 million followers on Instagram. They posted up something 3 hours ago about Thursday Night Football. It has 15,000 likes, where something from last weekend on Power Slap has like 7. So I don't.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dana White's a promoter and he's good at his job. He can just say things and doesn't necessarily have to back them up. He's just saying them. So somebody's going to take that fact and be like, oh, did you hear about this Power Slap stuff? It does more social media than this, and this combined. I looked it up, and they did some crazy shit on there. All he needs to get is like a few thousand people who listen to Theo's podcast to take that stat and run with it. And it doesn't even have to be true.
I have one more clip from that podcast, and it's a not safe for work type clip, but
all right,
it interested me because I know Dana gets a lot of shit. Some he definitely deserves, but
yeah,
Theo had a problem recently with a sponsor. He had the Democrat presidential candidate Robert Kennedy. Is it Robert Kennedy?
Yeah,
no, that's his dad.
Yeah, RFK.
So he had him on his podcast, and one of the sponsors, actually Peloton, called and told him to take it down because they didn't want that associated with their business. So he was telling Dana, and this is Dana's reaction.
Okay.
That's what you do. That's what you do. You stop fucking using their products and you fuck them.
Yeah. and tell them to go fuck themselves. And that's the same thing for me. Like if somebody's telling you that you can't vote a certain way, if somebody's telling you that if your boss is, make a video and fucking blast them.
Imagine that fucking dork
Yeah.
fucking picking up the phone, calling you and telling you that you can't have Robert Kennedy, who is a Democrat, by the way. You
Yeah.
know that guy's a fucking Democrat,
Oh, yeah.
right? Telling you that you can't fucking have him on your show. Who the fuck are you, Barry McCarthy,
Yeah.
to think you can pick up the phone and call anybody? You sell fucking stationary bikes for a living, you fucking clown.
Yeah, I thought it, you know, it was funny, but also it's true, you know. And Dana just walked out to this event with Donald Trump, you know, not, you know, RFK is as far away from Dana's probably political beliefs as, you know, he could be, but you know, he at least
Well,
you know. And I know you don't
yes.
want to get political. I don't mean want to get political. I just thought it was fun. That,
Yeah.
you know,
I'll just respond to that with a quick yes and no, because RFK is a pretty middle of the road Democrat. It's not like he's a left wing extremist. And I mean, Donald Trump, you have to remember, also a Democrat who just happened to run for
Yeah.
president as a Republican. So, I mean, if you took all three of them together, they're all probably pretty middle of the road. If you just
Yeah.
had them having a conversation in a room, they'd probably agree on a lot of things. But yeah, that's something I've always appreciated about Dana. Like you said, there's a lot of things that he does deserve to get shit for, but the fact that he's never let anybody tell him what to do or tell him how to run his company or like truly not giving a shit about what people think, that is really admirable. And the fact that he continues to succeed, you know, in spite of all those things, in spite of, you know, telling so many big companies to go fuck themselves and this and that, and you know, he'll go to bat against USADA when they do something wrong, or he'll go to bat against a big sponsor and tell them to fuck off, even if it costs money temporarily. You know, that attitude has built up a bigger valuation for the UFC over time.
Yeah, he actually took it a step farther, and he actually had Pelotons in all the UFC gyms, and he took them all out. Like Peloton is no longer in any UFC gym, which is pretty. That's I don't know. To me, that's pretty damn cool. You know.
Yeah, that's a cool move.
Another cool move he's made is Bud Light's now the sponsor, and he I didn't take a clip of that, but he was talking about. He's like, look, Bud Light employs like 60,000 Americans. That's all I need to know. So what? They sent a beer can to the wrong person with the wrong picture on it.
Yeah.
I think I would like to have Dana White as the boss. I think he's probably demands a lot, but
yeah. I mean, if I were I've thought about this too. If I were like younger and didn't have a kid and could like really dedicate myself to a job, the UFC would probably be a really cool company to work for.
It'd be fun.
But at this stage of my life and the flexibility that I enjoy in my career and like spending time with my family that I love doing, I would not like to have him as a boss, because this is a guy that's just working constantly.
Oh yeah, COVID comes around, you're like, oh man, we're gonna get a break. Nope.
Yeah. And like, oh man, I'm worried about my grandparents in the nursing home, but still gotta be at the office for working for Uncle Dana. I mean, don't get me wrong, I appreciate his work ethic and everything, but yeah, it'd be a hard pass for me at this stage of my life. But if I were a younger guy, like in my mid-20s, like hell yeah, I feel like it'd be a great experience. I would learn a lot from him. I have worked for a big company before. I did PR for one of the biggest technology companies in the world, and it was an awesome experience. I learned a ton. I would not do it again at this stage of my life.
Yeah. We're getting old, Bill.
Yeah. old and disgruntled. But
well, next week we got a more notable card, at least more bigger names.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how to do this show next week, because I'm leaving for New York tomorrow night, and then next Thursday is Thanksgiving.
We'll figure it out. I don't do much. But I mean, Kevin Gastelum is the 4 fights away from the main event
I mean, that makes sense.
on a fight night.
Huh?
On a fight night,
Yeah. Because he's pulled out of the last however many fights.
and Khalil Roundtree is opening up the main card.
Okay.
So
makes
we'll
sense
talk
too.
about it.
Yeah. We'll touch base at some point. I'll have to do the podcast from my sister's house in New York, where I'll be spending the holiday celebrating my niece's first birthday. She got herself a nice little black eye for her first birthday.
What'd you do wrong?
She was trying to climb a bookcase and smacked her face on the corner of it.
Oh,
So my sister texted me a picture today, look who's gonna have a black eye for her birthday. So
yeah.
I told her I would go to the gym in the morning and try to get one too, so we would
She's
match.
trying to make her uncle proud.
Yeah, that's right. She's gonna be a tough little kid, my niece Julia. So my daughter has, I mean, my sister has 2 daughters, and one they could not be more different. One of them is like, will do whatever you say, very obedient, very well-mannered child, and the other one is just bouncing off the walls, like couldn't wait to start walking, climbing all over everything, like wants to get into everything. The other one, if you told her just like sit there and look at a book, she'll just sit and do it.
And the crazy one's younger.
Yeah.
Oh boy, the older one's gonna have her hands full.
Yeah. And the older one is like tries to reprimand the little one too. It's kind of funny because she's only a year older than her.
Oh,
Or a year and a half.
yeah. Well, we need more tough kids in this world, so
Yeah.
hope the trend continues.
Yeah, for sure. We gotta have some tough ones. All right. Anything else you want to get off your chest?
No, other than that, I highly suggest everyone go take a look at that Theo Von Dana White. I think it's the longest I ever saw somebody sit down and talk to him. It's got a lot of cool stuff. He talks a lot about how he runs the UFC.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
a lot of the
surprised Dana White's never done Rogan, has he?
no, I think he did once, but it's like a group of people on it.
Oh, okay.
But it was way before any of
Before Rogan went off the rails.
before Rogan's given The Rock lifting advice.
Oh man. Yeah, I was telling you about this. I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan. He's a large part of why MMA on the Rocks exists. Like he was definitely an inspiration for me early on, but man, his podcasts have become unlistenable because I was listening to his interview with The Rock. It wasn't even an interview. It was just Joe Rogan talking to The Rock for the first 45 minutes. That's as far as I got into it. I was like, he hasn't even asked this guy a fucking question yet. This guy's one of the biggest celebrities in the world, and he's lecturing him about fitness and work ethic. And it's like, you don't need to tell The Rock about any of this stuff.
Yeah, Rogan's the reason why I do jiu-jitsu. The reason why I'm not 270 pounds or when I was 240 when I made the change.
Yeah.
I think he's just getting bored interviewing
Yeah.
celebrities because I'm pulling it up now. There was an episode with a man named Elliot West. It was last week. He's a historian that focuses on Native Americans, and it was a good one. It was almost like back to what we expect from Rogan because he was interested in what the guy was saying. But yeah, other than that, it's okay.
Yeah.
It was fun while it lasted, and I get 3 hours of my day back.
Yeah, there you go too. I mean, you could tell when he's not interested in talking to people. And look, the guy is like damn near a billionaire now. He probably has nobody around him that was like, listen, Joe, that last episode kind of sucked. Like you weren't even letting the other guy talk. He probably has nobody in his life telling him shit like that.
Yeah. And also
he's got a bunch of money. He hangs out with a bunch of broke comedians. So they're all going to be kissing his ass the whole time. And I would be too. I would be like, yeah, Joe, that podcast with The Rock was awesome. Let's go,
Yeah.
let's go shoot some elk and let's go do a
Let's go
deprivation
jump in
chamber.
some
And
cold water and get in
Yeah.
hot air.
yeah, let me play in your adult playground here that you have. Let's do some jujitsu. Yeah. Oh yeah, that Hulk Hogan episode, awesome.
Yeah,
I'd be kissing his ass too.
he must. I don't know. I just lost what I was going to say. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Oh no, it was that they mentioned him on the Republican debate last week, and that's got to be weird. Like that has to be weird that you wake up and you see that the candidates of the Republican candidates for president are calling for him to mediate an event. And
yeah, and that's not the first time.
Yeah,
They wanted him to host presidential debates in the past. I mean, there was a time where maybe that would have been cool, but at this point, it would just be him like, "Hey, did you ever do DMT?"
yeah.
Like,
have you thought about DMT? Have you seen the Clockwork Elves?
yeah, he's like my dad, like just telling the same stories over and over again, no matter who's listening.
The same story.
I think my dad and Joe Rogan are about the same age. They're maybe like 6 or 7 years apart.
I thought Joe was like 56, 55.
Yeah.
What's your
Yeah,
dad?
he's 56 and my dad is 63.
Okay. So within a decade.
Yeah. They're the same generation for sure. In any case,
That's all I got.
holidays are coming up. So if you folks out there want to grab yourself some MMA on the Rocks merchandise, reaper1.co is the website. You can use the promo code MMA Rocks 10, save yourself 10% on your entire order, whether you are ordering MMA on the Rocks stuff or not. So you can go ahead and do that. I'm still posting a ton of content. I posted a breakdown of Jared Gordon's win at UFC 295 on Instagram and YouTube, and those videos have been doing pretty well. You guys gotta voice your opinions. Let me know the content that you like. Do you like more whiskey stuff, more whiskey reviews? Do you like the 1 minute cocktails, the fight breakdowns, the technique videos? Leave comments on there and let me know. I got a couple of comments on the Jared Gordon video today, people asking for more of that. So, I definitely see that, and I definitely will listen. So if you like the breakdowns, let me know. Leave some comments, and we'll keep cranking out content here on MMA on the Rocks until I get bored of doing this and I end up interviewing The Rock and lecturing him about life. That's all we got. So until next time, if we don't see you before then, have a happy Thanksgiving and cheers, everybody. Goodbye.